What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Awesome Show. Today we're looking at more of the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universal Monster crossover figures. So in this we have Leonardo as the Hunchback, which looks pretty cool. I love that design on there. And then April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein. So both of these look really cool. You know, continue on with our Universal Monster crossover. So we'll look at the Hunchback here. Looks pretty awesome. Like I said, love that artwork of him there. If we turn to the side, of course, just as labeled as the Hunchback. And around on the back, I love like the pulp comic designs where it's, you know, the figure, but they have it labeled and stuff that looks like the old comic book style, so it looks pretty cool and has some awesome functions. And if we spin it around here, we can open up and see the picture of him and then the actual figure there and all the accessories that it's going to come with. So that is really cool, and I'm excited to look at this one. It just looks super cool. So that Leonardo looks awesome. And then we have April, and if you can't tell, it's designed off Judith Hoag. So April from the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, so that's who it's designed after. So again, Bride of Frankenstein on the side and the designs there on the back with her figure. Again, I love that back artwork design there. And if we open up, there's the picture of her and the figure itself. So it comes with an additional head and all sorts of accessories, some weird rats and stuff that look pretty creepy, and all of that just looks really cool. So April as the Bride of Frankenstein here, so I'll have to put her, of course, with our Raph as Frankenstein. So both of these look really cool, and I'm excited to check them out. So let me get them out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Leonardo as the Hunchback. So of course, with him being labeled as the Hunchback, I immediately thought the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a Universal Monster movie. They did make that, but I believe he's supposed to be based more off Igor or Fritz, as he was known in the very first Frankenstein movie. So overall, I assume he's supposed to be more like Igor is the whole point, which Igor did have the humpback as well as Fritz. They both had the humpback design. So I assume that's what he's supposed to be, but since they called him the Hunchback, I immediately thought of Quasimodo. But overall, he looks pretty cool here. So you can see it's Leonardo. So he's got the blue bands and he's got a creepy looking face. So he's got the eyebrows, which I think are pretty weird on the turtle, having the thick brown eyebrows there, and he even has some like little hair there on his chin. But he's got the all messed up mouth, so his teeth are all messed up and crooked there. He even has like a little scarring with some staples there on his face. And I like how his headband's wrapped around, and then the tail's kind of off to the side here, down the side, so it's like a side pony. So that's pretty funny. And then it feeds into his hump on his back, so you can see he's even got some more staples and stuff going in there. But to the hump there on his back, but kind of feeds into his turtle shell. He's got the cream color brown like shirt on. He's got the elbow pad stuff, much like the turtles normally have. The belt around his waist with the sash going up and around. Rope belt tied around the waist. I like all the pockets and stitching and bugs. So he's got bugs all over him. All these characters have bugs crawling over him, but I like how he's got the blue colored bugs. So blue pants come down where the legs are sort of ripped up. Still has the knee pads there, and then the bear turtle feet at the bottom. And here he's got a shackle with a chain kind of hanging off of it, of his one foot there. So that's pretty cool. And again, he's got the like stitching and stuff all around. So he has a lot of stuff similar thrown in here of the Raphael Frankenstein. So that's pretty interesting that he has a lot of like the cuts with the stitches or staples and stuff holding him together. So kind of weird he has all that, but still looks pretty cool. But the biggest feature on this is his shell on the back. So his shell's, you know, supposed to be like his humpback, but it's designed, you know, just like a shell here. So it's cool. It looks like the turtle shell. It does have some holes in it that'll hold the swords and stuff. He's got a nice big hinge over here, so you can see like the screws in the hinge, and then all sorts of little pieces holding the shell together there with a big lock here on the side. So it's like, oh no, the shell's locked, you can't get in, have to have a key. But this is just decoration. You don't really need it. Will open up without it because you just pull on it and the shell will open up here, whereas some stuff inside. So we have like a little spider hiding out there in the back, and then we have some stuff. So we have like the little brain container here. So of course, like in that first Frankenstein movie, Fritz is sent out to get a brain, and he gets a brain, but then he drops it, so he has to get a new one. So he gets the abnormal brain, so it's like the brain of a serial killer or whatever. So they put that in Frankenstein, but here we have the brain, nice like little contraption with all sorts of tubes and the brain inside, tubes going up into it, and then the little meters and stuff there on the bottom. So overall looks pretty cool. It does sit in here on a peg, so it can be stored in there if you want, but we'll take it out for now. And we just have this nice big open area. So kind of like down here looks like dirt and stuff, and I don't know what that's supposed to be. It looks like an egg almost, but just sort of weird stuff down in the bottom. Then like this wooden like shell stuff design stored into his back shell, which is pretty cool. And of course, shutting it kind of was a little bit awkward. Like stuff seems a little bit off, so you have to get it like, I think like kind of like twist it, so like twist it down like this a little bit to get it to shut properly. But otherwise it may have some issues and may end up breaking this, so you just have to be careful with that. But overall, pretty cool design. Like it's not my favorite of the Universal monsters, but I kind of like it with the shell design stuff. That's kind of what saves this mostly. But let's do the movement. So his head can twist all the way around and it'll go down that far and up that far. So obviously he has some pretty decent movements. And just like the last two, the Mikey and the Raph, really nice with these figures because I don't need to heat them up at all. All the joints are pretty soft and pretty easy and smooth. The only things I did have to heat up was the extra hands to get the joints to flex. But other than that, like his whole body body was perfect, didn't have to do anything, and same with the April. So pretty nice to have that. I wish all NECA figures would be like that. But then we get the shoulders that can come up a little bit, so with the shell is kind of running into it there, and only can come up about that far, so maybe 45, but can rotate around within there. We get the double elbow joint, so we get the joint at the top and the bottom, but it's going to be hard to do, especially with the elbow pads. So you get maybe a 90 degree, if that, but there's some twisting up there, so twist at the top and at the bottom section as well. Then we get the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Now for his body movements, not able to find anything, like no twisting like at a waist, and obviously no crunching, of course with the big shell piece and stuff, kind of makes sense. So I don't really get any of that, but the hips do move a little bit. They do come up just barely a little bit there, so maybe like the 45 and then out to the side a little. We do have a thigh twist up in there, and then we get the double knee joint similar to the elbows, but of course with that knee pad you don't get much movement at all, just to there. And again, there's rotation, so we get rotation at the top as well as the bottom. There's a shin twist at the bottom of the pants leg, so right in there you get it to twist around, and then the foot does rock back and forth and twist side to side. So figure wise, it's not the best, which is kind of obvious, you know, with the limitations of the design and stuff, but I am surprised it has, you know, as decent movements. And like I said, with it being NECA, how easy the movements were right out of the box, which is quite surprising. But overall, you know, he could be better, obviously, with the elbows and knees, but kind of limited by their pads and stuff. But the coolest part, like I said, is definitely the shell on the back, how it opens and you can store stuff back here. But for accessories, we get some additional hands. So first off, we get a set of fist hands. It's going to be exact same design, so it has the cuts and staples and stuff on it there that go along with those open hands. We get some pointing hands, so if you want to have him pointing, you can. Or we've got some grip hands, which is probably what we'll end up using, so we'll just go and switch these out. So there I got the grip hands on, and of course with this being Leonardo, he's got to come with his two katanas, so we get these two, which have pretty neat designs. So they have that nice guard designs, like even like little like screws and stuff in there, and then the handles with the ball spikes at the end of them, so those look pretty cool. So nice katana blades there, and as I mentioned, the shell can hold them, so there are the holes in the shells like that one, so you can take and slide the katanas down inside of them, so it will store them. So it's pretty neat that you can stick them down inside here, so they'll stick out of the shell like that in the back. But let's go and just put them into his hand, and there Leonardo has the two swords, which is pretty cool. And these got a lot of accessories, and we can store them in a shell. I don't know if everything will go in there, like I feel it should, but maybe with all this stuff it won't. But first, of course, we have that brain container we've already took a look at, so that we can store in the back of a shell. We get a skull, so we just have this skull, which is pretty cool. Nice design. They put a lot of nice detail into it and stuff, and it has a hole down here in the bottom, and there's a peg in the back on the upper shelf piece that it's supposed to sit on, but we've not been able to get it on there at all. Just I don't know if the peg's wrong or the hole in the skull's wrong or whatever, but we're not able to get it up. But we've got the skull. We also get a bone, a big bone, so especially for the size of that skull, this bone is huge, and you've got a nice like fracturing and stuff. But we get this bone, and we also get some shovels. So we have some shovel, of course, him digging up the dead body that they use for Frankenstein and stuff. So we get a shovel and a spade, so those look pretty cool there. That again, I think if we did it right, could store in his shell as well. And finally, the last thing is we get some flame effects that can go onto the sword, so we can attach these on. So there's the flame effects on the end of the sword, so that's pretty cool. So instead of like the sticks, you know, with the flames on the end of them to walk around at night, they have the swords with the flames, which is pretty cool. So that is awesome. But let's go and see if I can try and get stuff in his shell here. So there I got most of the stuff stored in his shell, so you can see the shovels like kind of sit back in here, and they do have a little notch they kind of like stick in, and then there are pieces up here in the back that you can tell like fit into. So like this shovel handle has a little like sort of a hole indentation, and this one has more of a square piece for the handle. And then there is a piece for the bone, but I can't really get the bone to stay in. There's like a little indentation right here, like right in the back, perfectly for it. Of course you can't really see it, but it just like fits perfectly back in here. But I again don't know what you're supposed to do with the bone, if it's supposed to be laying back under here as well, not exactly sure. But then if you put the swords in the back, they kind of cross over to hold everything in place there. And then we get the piece, of course, section here for the brain jar, so it sits there. And then like I said, the skull's supposed to sit up here, but I don't know if because the peg's a little crooked, like bending inward, and then I think the hole on the skeleton is kind of going in the same direction as well, so for it to like fit, it'd have to be more like this. So unfortunately that doesn't fit in there, so it kind of just have to stick like that, and then you can just stick the bone in here anywhere else you want to be able to then shut it all back up, and it all just kind of sits right in there, store it in the back. So that's pretty cool. All those accessories fit in this back piece, so that's pretty cool. We still have all the hands and the flame effects and stuff though, so those don't all fit in there, but it's cool to have all those other little pieces and stuff fit into his back, which is pretty cool. But overall I think he looks pretty awesome. Like I said, it's definitely not my favorite one. This is probably my least favorite figure out of all of them so far, but I like the overall look and the function of the shell and stuff. I just wished overall it worked a little better, and it was a little bit of a better character design stuff, but overall not bad. And then we've got April O'Neil as the bride of Frankenstein, and overall she looks pretty cool here. This was probably one I wasn't as interested in, but overall figure figure-wise, I do like this a lot. So of course it is April, and as I mentioned, it is Judith Hoag. So from the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action movie is who it's based off. So it has her same face design, and then just designed as the Bride of Frankenstein. So her hair's all poofed up there with the white streaks going through it. So like the lightning streaks, she has the lightning bolts, the all blue skin, so nice bluish skin color with some like blue lipstick design. And there you can see her neck, so much like Frankenstein, she's all sewn together and stuff. So her neck has got all the stitches and stuff there with the bolts into the neck, and this one has the tube coming around going down into the back there. She's got this nice outfit on, so it's supposed to be sort of like the yellow, April like yellow coat design and stuff, but it's got this yellowish like brown tan color. It's got bugs all over it, as I mentioned before. They all have it going all the way down the back with the stitching even there through the jacket. Then she's got like the mummified body, so the Bride of Frankenstein is always all wrapped up sort of like mummified and stuff. So she has the wrappings all over her arms there on the center like her chest plate, and then she also has an outfit on similar to the April figure we got, so the brownish color outfits like leather all stitched up and stuff there with the skirting piece, more wrappings down her legs, and then you can see the blue legs as well as the arms there with the stitchings all the way running through it, all the way down to the shoes, where I like how they gave her the higher heel shoes, so much like the platform shoes that Frankenstein's monster had. So pretty interesting figure design overall, and I like how they put all the stuff and like designs into it and stuff. Like I said, they put a lot of detail. It's not just, oh, we'll take the character and make them, look like the Bride of Frankenstein and that's it. They put a lot of like detail to try and get, like the April stuff as well as the Bride of Frankenstein stuff thrown in here for like, things like this. So I love all the work they put into it. But we'll do her movements. So her head can twist all the way around, a little bit hard with the head and neck design stuff, but she looked down that far and up that far. So not the best movements, especially down. She's pretty much almost looking straight on, but up a little bit there. We get the shoulders that can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with rotation in it, as well as the wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. She's got the ab crunch in the middle, so she can crunch back and forth a little bit and twist around at the waist. The hips can come up a little, of course, with the skirting not going to come up too far, so maybe 45 and out to the side a little. Thigh twist up in there. The double knee joint, so we get the upper knee joint and then the lower knee joint, so it comes up pretty high there, and there is some twisting at that upper knee section. And then we get the foot that can rock back and forth and can twist side to side. And I'm quite surprised with the like platforms and being the smaller feet and stuff. She does stand up pretty easy. Like I thought I'd have so many issues, but she stands up pretty easily with very little effort. Then we get some accessories. So first off, we get an additional head. So same sort of head design, just this one she has a little bit of a smile. So I feel there's not much different because it doesn't look like she's like angry or anything with this head. But this one we just get a little smile to it. So if you want to have her more smiling, you get that. We get some additional hands. So we have some hands with some grips in them. So instead of just the open hands there, we get the grips. And then we have stuff pretty similar to the other April. So like the movie version we got. So first off, she comes with her purse, but I like how they made this one. So it's an all leather bag, has the lock and stuff on it there, bones sticking out, and then the all chain thing here. So let's go and put this around her. So there's her purse hanging around her there. So again, I love that detail because just like that movie version, the April came with that. So it's nice that we get it with this one as well. We also get Raphael's sai, so that last April came with the sai because she ends up finding it in the stream and she has it. So this one comes with it as well, but it's got the lightning bolt design stuff just like the Frankenstein Raphael had. So again, nice detail with that. And with the last one, she came with the microphone since she's a news reporter. Well, this time she comes with one of the like lightning shock sticks. I forget what they're called, but like during the Bride of Frankenstein, the lightning bolt like hits them and it sends the electricity down. And a lot of times the Bride of Frankenstein figures come with them and stuff. But this time it's a long microphone stick. So it has the microphone out the end and it says WTRL, but then it's got like that lightning rod design going all the way down to it and all sorts of buttons and stuff there all the way down the stick and stuff. So that's pretty fun, interesting, adding in the microphone. That'd be for April, but also combining in with that lightning rod stuff. So let me switch one of her hands out for the grip hands and we'll put this in it. So there's April with that microphone now ready to conduct an interview. And then finally she just comes with some other random accessories they just kind of threw in here. So first off, we get a rat that has an ear like sewn onto its back. So pretty creepy, and that rat looks pretty evil and stuff, and it can sit up here like this. So a nice fun little rat to throw in. And then we also get a rat with an eye on it. So an eye all stitched on it and stuff with nice red eyes and evil looking rat there as well. So we get those additional little rats thrown in. Again, nothing really important, but we do have them. And then finally we also get this creepy looking tarantula spider as well. Don't know what to do with it, but again, just thrown in here. So very cool overall for this April. Like I said, I like her much more than the Leonardo, but still pretty cool because I love the intellect they put into these sets. Like I said, with the designing everything to like truly mash up the two things is really a genius, and I think they did an amazing job. So there's our two NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universal Monster figures of Leonardo as the Hunchback, or Igor as he should probably be called, and April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein. Again, I love these so much. I think they did a really good job. Obviously, as I mentioned, I think I like the April a little bit more than the Leonardo just because I have some issues with the overall function of the figure, but overall neither of them are bad, and I really really enjoyed this. Like, I'm enjoying it because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover with the Universal Monsters, and I'm a fan of the Universal Monsters, so having them together is really cool. And like I said, I love the ingenuity they're putting into these. They're not just, like I said, just cheaply slapping things together. They're really putting the work in on these. But now that we have them, we can throw them in with the other two Universal Monsters we have, of Raphael as Frankenstein's monster and Michelangelo as the Mummy. So there we have those two figures there as well. Of course, the Mummy's being sort of blocked there, but there we have those now. Of course, I know they've at least announced 2 more figures of the Donatello and Splinter, and I'm sure there'll be more, but all of these are really cool. And like I said, I'm really enjoying the sets because they're putting a lot of work into them. And then, like I said, the figures themselves are actually working pretty good, not having issues with any of the movements and stuff, just having to heat up minor things here and there, not the whole figure like we used to. So NECA's doing a really good job with these figures so far. But let me know what you thought of these two down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.